O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
That would help out, right? I mean, they would help out that if I actually added the picture to the whole deal. You know what I'm saying? Good morning, one and all. How are you all? There's a lot of sun right now in the studio, so I gotta protect myself. So you never know what I'm gonna wear from show to show. First of all, I want to make sure that the audio is fine. Are we good audio wise? Everything kosher? We good? We good? Talk to me. Tell me. I like that hat, huh? 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 How do you like that? We good? I want to make sure. Okay, Johnny D is giving me a thumbs up there. Mike Lewis is saying, yup. Zuko loves that. Well, of course you love the hat. It's a freaking Dolphins hat. Every Dolphins hat is a great hat. It's perfection. That's kind of what the Dolphins are all about. Although I want to get back to that. Maybe not, it would be nice 19-0, but pretty close to it. Get me to the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, Super Bowl. I got an Airbnb in Vegas. I had to cancel the one in Arizona last year because of the injuries. This year, I don't want to cancel the one in Vegas. I want them to start playing at a high level here, okay? So I need to use my Airbnb in Vegas. Okay, Sean and I need another excuse why we have to go to Vegas. Okay, boy, and Sean learned. When we went for Showtime, because every time he's gone to Vegas with me, we've gone with Airbnbs, and this time around we stayed in a hotel. And brothers and sisters, when you stay in a hotel, you gotta walk a lot, and he realized that. So so that's why the Dolphins need to make it to the Super Bowl, because that way Sean can stay in an Airbnb and not have to walk nearly as much. Because brother, thank you, Ron. If you don't like this hat, there's something wrong with you. I mean, seriously. Something's wrong with you if you don't like this hat. I mean, this is This is the hat out there, bro. Gotta admit, this is a badass hat, especially with the lining. You know, that lining is awesome. And then, of course, the greatest logo on the face of the earth right there. You know, you got the greatest logo on the face of the earth. Yeah, you know, you can't beat that. They got it done this weekend, at least. A little sloppy. Still not what we need, but all right, let's see. Philly will be the test. Philly will be the test. That's the one we're going to find out. Have you taken that step forward that we need you to take? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I see Steve Chapman is in the house. Number one with a bullet. Good morning, everyone. He says, I don't care if you beat the New York Giants or Prairie View AT&T. A win is a win. Amen to that. Steven Gonzalez is in. Mr. Torres is in. One-Eyed Jack. Sharon Calderon, which is Jeff from Long Island. Back in first place. Yes, sir. Brian Walters is in. Lisa Rose is in. Omar Geiner is in. Kyle Cockrell, Chad, Johnny D. Just listen to Mario Cristobal and Joe Rosa's show. Sounded so defeated. What can you say to your team? I heard the interview with Mario Cristobal and Joe Rose today. I gotta say, Mario, my brother, I'm on your bandwagon. I'm not getting off. I'm on your. I support Mario Cristobal. I do not apologize in any way, shape, or form for his entire season last year and what happened on Saturday. And guess what? I also cannot apologize for, cannot defend how he handled that interview with Joe Rose. That was terrible. He has yet, when Joe asked him about the decision, he says, no way to rationalize it with the decision. We should have taken a knee. That's not good enough. And then when he was asked, what did you say to Don Chaney? You got to move on. We should have taken a knee. I'm sorry, dude. Mario, my brother, you're missing the boat completely here, my man. I'm not hearing I screwed up. This doesn't fall on anyone except me. I made this terrible decision. I cost the entire program the loss. When you, what did you say to Don Chaney? There's nothing to say to Don Chaney. You're supposed to say. What I told Don Chaney is, hey, Don, this is my fault. You shouldn't have been carrying the ball. We should have been taking a knee right there. I did the irresponsible thing. Don, this is not on you. Not, hey, what did you tell Don Chaney? Well, we got to suck it up. We should have taken a knee. No, Mario Cristobal, my brother, you are missing the boat here. You are not falling on the sword. You are not falling on the sword. And you need to fall on it, my man. You cannot allow this to be a decision about the program. This is a decision of Mario Cristobal. I saw that interview, and you can tell he was, bothered by doing the interview, and he was mad still. He was short on answers, and I get all the frustrations. You're still not taking accountability for all of this. I mean, your comment on Saturday night, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like along the lines of, God, I thought I wrote it somewhere here over the weekend, but basically, I told them this, that, and we should have taken a knee, and let's just move on. And I also mentioned two hands on the ball. And you're like, yo, Why the two hands on the ball? There's no reason for you to bring up two hands on the ball because there wasn't supposed to be two hands on the ball. There was supposed to be knees on the ground. Knees, bro. It's about the knees. And when I saw that interview with Joe Rose or heard that interview this morning because I was interested, I said, he's normally on with Joe on Mondays. All right, let's check it out. So I put it on while I was preparing, and I was floored. There's still there. This has to be where no one's at fault except me. I'm not hearing that from Mario Cristobal. We should no, there's no fucking we, dude. It's you. You screwed up. You're in charge. You put Don Chaney in a terrible position. You put your team in a terrible position. You made the second worst coaching decision in the history of the University of Miami football. And for those of you that weren't tuning in on Saturday when I did the recap, Jimmy Johnson will always hold that because what he did with Vinny Testaverde in the Fiesta Bowl wasn't one bad decision. It was 4 quarters of bad decisions by allowing Vinny's ass to continue to throw interception after interception after interception. So Jimmy Johnson will always own the dumbest decision in the history of University of Miami football. But Mario Cristobal, there is no doubt he is a mighty close second. Because what happened on Saturday was catastrophically freaking stupid. But what Mario Cristobal needs to say is, it's me. I screwed up. No one else. Does Tua point fingers ever? No. Does Spo ever point fingers? No. They take the heat. That's how and that's what the leader does. Now, we should have taken a knee. Oh, it was a bad decision. No, I made a bad decision. I put Don Chaney in a terrible position. I should have never put that young man in that position. Don Chaney has nothing to do with this. I am fully to blame here. I have not heard that from Mario Cristobal. There's no we here. It's him. And in this moment, he has to be the lightning bolt. He has to be the guy taking all of the heat. He's trying to include everyone in this decision. He has to exclude everyone from this example. He has to absolve everyone from this. He has to tell the public, it's no one but me. I am the one that made that decision. Because I heard Joe out. Well, I wonder what was the communication like, this, that. You need to put that shit to rest if you're Mario Cristobal. You need to be the guy that just stands there, just like you're like that person that gets caught in an electric thing and a fence. And you need, Mario has to be the guy there just taking all the heat and criticism, even though, because everybody else has already given it to him, but he has not actually become that lightning bolt for everybody else in the program. And that's what I didn't get from that interview, that I think Mario Cristobal dropped the ball. Again. Anyway, what can I tell you, folks? What can I tell you? Really can't say much about this. I can tell you Welton Rayom, they're in Hollywood. They are phenomenal. If you think you've got a case, well, all you got to do is pick up the phone, right? The consultation's free. Ask for Jeff Welt. Explain to him what happened to you a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. Statute of limitations may not be up. You may have one hell of a case. And this is why you want to call Welton Rayom. They are in Hollywood. They service all of South Florida, all of Florida, too. We got a listener in Orlando that hired Welton Rayom several months ago, folks. Please call him 954-966-4646. Jeff and Dan have been at this for well over 20 years. They've got an amazing track record. They bring these corporations to their knees. I witnessed it firsthand when they took down Progressive for us after a bunch of kids took down the wall of our house. But anyway, so I'm telling you, you want to call Welton Rayom. I promise you. And the consultation's completely free. 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom. Does this one mistake erase all the positives steps this program has made? Not at all. Not at all. I think I told you I am totally behind Mario Cristobal. Completely behind Mario Cristobal. But, okay, Mario Cristobal, he's got problems now. Let's not kid ourselves. Okay? He's not going to be trusted from here on out. And now he's going to be under a bigger microscope. So any other mistakes, they start to be magnified even more. And when it comes to trust, he lost trust now. When you make a horrific decision like this, you should be questioned, unfortunately. And so now he's going to have to deal with that. And this is part of the game. So while I haven't quit on the guy, I'm still supporting the guy. I'm not defending anything he did. I ain't defending last season. I'm a Mario guy, and I'm the first guy to tell you Mario Cristobal owns the worst season I have, worse than anything we've seen in the past. Anything that Al Golden did and Manny Diaz and Randy Shannon. Mario Cristobal's season last year was worse than all of those. And that's bad. Can't defend it. But again, it was a mess that he inherited, so I gave him, he got a total pass last year. You can't give him a pass on this one, unfortunately. And so now he will be under a microscope. And let me tell you something, he better do a good job from here on out in those kind of situations, because if he doesn't, people will want his head like they want it now. Because there's a bunch of people now that have said, yeah, this guy ain't. I mean, think about this. If you're in the administration, you got to be questioning him. And the fact that this is habitual, that he never puts a knee, that he's been doing it all season, and in 2018 lost a game just kind of like this with Oregon. So, we're talking about a guy that he has this conservative style too. So we'll see. He is going to be under a microscope whether he likes it or not. This decision was viewed by everybody, bro. This was a primetime game. It was on at 8 o'clock at night. There weren't a lot of games on. So a lot of people saw Mario Cristobal do one of the dumbest freaking things people have ever seen in the last 20 years on a football field. In their eyes. Some people will tell you what they witnessed on Saturday was the dumbest effing thing they've ever seen in their lives. You're going to hear people like that all across the country. Wow, that's one coach I would never trust. He has to now deal with that. Now he has to come up. See, here's the problem with Mario now. Now he has to do even better than what he was supposed to do. And he has to start coming up with some incredible performances, because mediocre performances will be magnified too. He put himself behind a brutal 8 ball now, and he deserves it, unfortunately. There's no excuse, dude. You did a lot of stupid shit last year, and on Saturday, you did some king-size stupid shit, and there's no defense of it. So it's just the way it goes. You could do whatever you want. You're going to, you do this, you have spoiled the trust of people. Now they look at it and go, I can't trust this guy on a game day. And now he has to earn their. Let me tell you, the North Carolina game this week, wow. You better come up with one hell of a performance, dude. If you lose and even lose ugly in this game, that's going to really, really turn a lot of people off. So we're going to see how all of this is handled. And again, very disappointed in his Joe Rose interview because he still has not completely lied on the sword all by himself. And that's what he's supposed to do, and he has failed to do that. He has made it sound like a program thing, and he has to make it sound like it's a Mario Cristobal only thing, and he hasn't. Very, very disappointed in Mario in that sense. Lizzie Finfan says, people are saying that TD pass to Tyreek was all Tyreek, looked off the safety, dropped a dime, traveled 40 yards in the air in stride. I don't know. Listen, man, I'm at a point now where I don't really care anymore about, whatever Tua hate there is out there. He's a hell of a player. He's the second best quarterback in the history of this franchise. He'll be better than Bob Greasy when it's all said and done. And he has all the ability you need to lead this team to a Super Bowl. So at this point, if you got a hair in your ass about Tua, that's your problem. Radio host says, good morning. Oh, happy to have a victory Monday, even though we played sloppy and kept giving them a chance to defeat. You are correct, sir. But hey, it is a victory Monday. Let's give the Dolphins a victory cigar. They deserve it. Do we give one to Mario Cristobal? No victory cigar for Mario Cristobal. No. Inter Miami, no victory cigar for you. No victory cigar for you. Man of 1,005 holds says, as I said yesterday, Mario makes another mistake like that again, he should be fired. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you do something like that, yeah, you fire him. If you could do something that stupid twice, yeah, you fire his ass. I'm with you there. Yeah. Yeah, I will be right off his bandwagon if he does anything like this ever again. Yeah, I would go with that. Yeah. Unless we're talking it's like 8 years from now and then he won a title or two or something and then he made a catastrophic mistake, then you say, well, he's won. But so far, yeah, without winning anything, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I have the same hat. Daughter got it for me. Use it when we go on the boat. There you go. There you go. Although I don't want to sweat this hat up. Like my nice hats, I don't like taking them out and sweating them up. I like keeping them in places indoors where I know I'm not going to sweat and it's going to look super nice still and all that, so I can keep it looking fresh. I have a certain group of hats that I'll go out in the heat and sweat them up and all that kind of stuff. I'll do that, but there are certain hats that like the Zach Thomas hat that I have here. You think I'm ever going to go outside with this hat? Huh? Ever? You think this thing is ever going to see one drop of sweat? Ever? No. 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 Imposible. Okay? I got another Dolphins hat that I can, put a little sweat into it and all that. That's fine. But my Zach Thomas hat that I bought at the Hall of Fame? No, man. There's no way I can do that. No way. That's cherished material there. I'm impressed how easily Tua can move on from mistakes and come back and drop a TD in response. He's a super mentally tough guy. I mean, you know that already by all the crap he's had to deal with, and I mean, to get drafted into a league with a coach that hates you. Oh, God. Poop is such a hater. He said yesterday after the game that Mike White could have done what Tua did yesterday. No, he didn't. He didn't say that. He did not say that. But then again, he thinks Teddy Bridgewater can do what Tua does. So, it's kind of funny. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's funny if he did say that. Oh, keeps his hat like una muñequita. That's how you treat royalty, buddy. You got it, bro. This is royalty right here. Okay? I got to get the football team up to this kind of royalty. Hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll show it to me in 2 weeks. Cristobal has done this shit before at Oregon. Yes, I know. I talked about it on Saturday, and all year, by the way, he's ended the game running the ball. Now the games weren't in a position to be decided. This one was. That's why you were supposed to just take a knee. There's a lot of negative press towards Chase Young, despite the fact that I see him playing at a Pro Bowl level right now in Washington. I would not touch him with a 10-foot pole. What are you going to do, bro? He wants a contract. You're going to give that guy who's always injured a contract? No. No. And by the way, why do you think he's playing at a high level right now? He wants a contract and he wants to get traded. Interesting motivation. Where's Tom Curran telling us Mac Jones is better than Tua? Yeah, no. I mean, that's just a homer crap. The stats don't show it, but Wilkins and Ginkle were like wasps causing all manners of strife. Red, and maybe you didn't listen to the post-game show yesterday on defense. Everybody, a bunch of guys had a great day, and that's fantastic for all of them. I'm super happy for all of them. None of it counts for me. The only guy that counts is Andrew Van Ginkel. Do you know why? Who was doing it before? Was Wilkins doing it before, or was Andrew Van Ginkel doing it before? Was Chubb doing it before, or was Andrew Van Ginkel doing it before? Was Raekwon Davis doing it before, or was Andrew Van Ginkel doing it before? You know what I'm saying? So it's nice that everybody got a piece of the pie yesterday and they played well. They're supposed to. You're playing against a terrible quarterback with no running game. The center, the left guard, the left tackle are out. You've got backups galore. Come on, man. You're supposed to tear them up, and you did. So I'm not impressed by Wilkins. I'm not impressed by everybody else. I'm only impressed by Andrew Van Ginkel, because what I got yesterday from Andrew Van Ginkel, I get it every week from Andrew Van Ginkel, no matter who the opponent is. Right? Because when they lost 2 weeks ago, who were the only two that showed up? Andrew Van Ginkel and Devon Achan, right? So Achan and Van Ginkel. So yesterday, you did what you were supposed to do with a terrible and injury-depleted offensive line. I'm just glad you got it done, but I'm not going to sit here and brag about it, bro. I just can't. I need you to do it in big games, big moments. I need you to do it against the Buffalo Bills, against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I need. I know I'm going to get it from Andrew Van Ginkel. I want it from everybody else. So right now, we only have one werewolf on the team. Need to find a few more. So that's where, Karun says, I can confirm Poupart did say White could play just as good, if not better than Tua against the Giants anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I whatever, man. That's fine. Oh, man. But then again, what are you going to do? Big O, going to see Depeche Mode on Thursday. Let's see how they sound. No, they sound great, dude. They sound great, George. You'll love the sound. They're not playing a ton of classics. They're out of their 22, I think they play 10 songs that are classics. They play a lot of new stuff. Now, if you've never seen Depeche Mode, then, it's a cool get for you to go see them. I've seen them so many times, and I saw them in their heyday. So my problem is they're not playing enough of the music that's worthy, because they have not had a good album in a while. It's like, 15, 20 years. And their last few albums have just, and so they play too much from those albums. But if you've never seen Depeche Mode, I suggest you go and check it out, because at least you're going to get, close to half the set is classics. So you'll get to see and hear some of the classics. They sound great. Sound is not a problem. That's the good thing. So you'll love that. So have fun, my man. I knew it was going to be like that without the Giants' top lineman. Yeah, you're supposed to kick their ass, dude. Thank you. We finally agree. It took a while to see the light, man. AVG is the truth. Well, I've been if you listen to this show, I've been an AVG guy from the get-go. Love the guy. I've always wanted him to play more, and I never understood why. And then when he wasn't going to come back, and then they finally brought him back, I was super happy. And I'm really happy that Fangio has given him the opportunity that he wasn't getting with Boyer and with Flo, because neither guy really truly committed to him. And now, as I've been talking about for 2 weeks now, okay, he needs to be the starter from here on out. I don't give a shit what you do with Phillips and Chubb. Let them fight or whatever, but neither one should be taking any time from Andrew Van Ginkel until both of them get to a point where they outplay Van Ginkel. But at this moment, Van Ginkel is outplaying Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb combined. Okay, and I know Jalen Phillips ain't playing, but even when he was playing, Andrew Van Ginkel is outplaying both of them combined. I have been an Andrew Van Ginkel guy from the get-go. Always been an Andrew Van Ginkel guy. And I don't know why others didn't see it, but the guy's always around the football. You can't teach that, man. Those kind of people, you cannot, Dwayne Wade, he had a knack for making the play. You can't teach that shit, dude. Certain people, they have this gift in sports that it just comes with who they are. And there's no explaining it whatsoever. It's just the magic that they bring to it. Deion Sanders has been that guy as a player and as a coach. There's this magic that comes with him, Can't explain it. It's just one of those things. And certain people have it. And when they do, and if you notice it, you got to gravitate to it. And this guy, and I'm not saying that Andrew Van Ginkel is Deion Sanders, but he just has a knack. Can't explain it. It's just one of those things. And please keep him on the field, because the Dolphins are way better when Andrew Van Ginkel is on the field. AVG reminds me of Mike Vrabel as a linebacker. Tough, versatile, finds. I think he's Clay Matthews, actually. He reminds me of Clay Matthews. I think he plays a lot like Clay Matthews. Has even the blonde hair and everything. White, blonde hair. Even the looks are kind of Clay Matthews. Well, his hair isn't as long as Clay's, but still pretty long. Andrew Van Sackle. All right. AVG is from my wife's hometown, Rock Valley, Iowa. Population less than 3,000. Wow. Daniel Jones wore an AVG overcoat yesterday. AVG deserves jersey sales. I'm buying one this week in Miami. Nice. You know what? That is a cool jersey to have. That's a good one, bro. I like that idea, NorCal. I like that idea a lot. I should get a Van Ginkel jersey. That should be my next jersey. Just for the hell of it. That's a good one, man. Let's see. Nico likes also the Clay Matthews comparison too. Big O, I'm going to my first Dolphins game ever for my B-Day. Wow. Congratulations, dude. Against the Patriots. Super excited. The Legion of Room versus the Legion of Gloom. So let's bounce around the NFL a little bit, huh? Patriots. So the Patriots yesterday lost to the Saints 34-0. They dropped now to 1-4, 0-3 at home. Mac Jones got benched. Bailey Zappi came in also. 3 of 9 for 22 yards for Bailey Zappi. He was zapping it. Mac Jones threw 2 interceptions. 12 of 22, 110 yards. Because it's not yards, it's yards. So, what about the genius? Just wondering, because as every week goes by, as every month, as every season that goes by without Tom Brady, please explain to me, what is Bill Belichick? Seems to be a mediocre head coach without Tom Brady. What's so elite about him? His defense, 34-0. Just wondering. You know, we talk about a guy getting exposed in a bad way. I think Belichick has been given a title that probably isn't earned anymore. And it's really deceiving to call him the GOAT. You know, when you're a GOAT, you can win with different kinds of teams and different kinds of leaders. You know, I saw Pat Riley win with the Lakers, and then I saw him create what he did with the Knicks. They were nothing, and he made them into something. And even when he left, the culture he left in place for Van Gundy lasted for a couple of more years, and then it died out, and it's never been resurrected again. Then he comes to Miami and does it again. And I've watched Spo do it with all kinds of teams. And I watched Shula do it with 3 different kinds of teams. Didn't win titles with all of them, but he did get to the pinnacle, the Super Bowl, with 3 different kinds of teams. So when has Belichick shown us anything outside of Brady? You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of weird how he gets a pass that he doesn't deserve. And you know, Joe Gibbs won 3 championships with 3 different quarterbacks, neither one of them a Hall of Famer. So you were able to get back to the pinnacle with different people. I have not seen any versatility at all from Bill Belichick. He cannot get to the playoffs without Tom Brady. He has a losing record without Tom Brady. Shula had a winning record without Marino or without Greasy. With Greasy, with Marino. With Woodstock, without Woodstock. He had a winning record, period. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of odd how all of this, transpires, and we just kind of gloss over it. And every day we're seeing that Bill Belichick there's nothing special there anymore, because special was number 12. And when number 12 goes to another team and leads another team to a Super Bowl, and Bill Belichick is sitting in Boston with a thumb up his ass, I mean, we got to call it like we see it, dude. No, Bill Belichick is a fraud, is what he is. He's a hell of a defensive coordinator that got lucky and ran into Tom Brady. But outside of that, until you actually show me you can win without Tom Brady, how am I supposed to respect you as a head coach? I have a hard time with this. I really do. When I've watched other coaches turn over rosters and have success with different leaders, with different teams. And I'm not seeing that at all with Bill Belichick whatsoever. Shit, I saw Marty Schottenheimer. Did he not go to the playoffs with Cleveland, with the Chargers? Did he end up in the playoffs with Washington once? Not sure now. But like you watch coaches that have gone to different places and they've at least maybe not won a title in both places, but Andy Reid, you didn't win the title in Philadelphia, but man, you had a lot of success there. Didn't he go to like 4 NFC championship games in a Super Bowl? And then he won the Super Bowl, and he's developed multiple quarterbacks, right? Didn't Mike Holmgren win a Super Bowl in Green Bay, go to a Super Bowl in Seattle? I'm just, I want to see something from the guy, because I can go through the history of sports and I can tell you, hey, look, this guy, Larry Brown, goes from one team to another and he turns them into a winner. That's greatness, dude. Greatness is Larry Brown. Everywhere he went, he turned the team into a winner. So why aren't the Patriots a winner without Tom Brady? What is it? Why does Belichick get the ultimate pass when, if you're going to be a GOAT, well then, bro, win with different people, and you can't. And brother, look what's going on there. It looks dysfunctional. It looks like it looked like in Cleveland. That's what it looks like. It looks like you're not ready to be a head coach, because apparently Tom Brady, he's even better than what we said he is. The worse it gets for Belichick, the better Tom Brady is. Okay, the greater he is. I don't know if there's anything above the GOAT, but whatever above the GOAT is, give it to Tom Brady. Because one guy had all the success and the other guy can't succeed at all. It's pretty scary. Anyway, Colts beat the Titans 23-16. Richardson left with a AC joint, a third degree, so he's out over a month now at this point. I'm going to say the same thing. I'll say to Daniel Jones. I'll say to Mickey Mouse, Lamar Jackson. I'll say to Cam Newton. I'll say to every running quarterback that's out there. You don't want to learn to live and win from the pocket? This is going to be your life, Anthony Richardson. So I hope you're ready for it, because this is the only, and you end up being a loser because you won't win the trophy. Learn to win from the pocket, or you'll never get anywhere. Look at Tannehill, another guy. Little different because he doesn't use his legs to succeed. But if the running game isn't dominating from Derrick Henry, he's got no shot. So Minshew came in, kept him afloat. Minshew's one of those guys who's an excellent backup, very mediocre starter, right? He'll keep you afloat, won't make a lot of mistakes, and he stayed away from them and they won 23-16. But Richardson, poor kid, I saw him get injured and I'm like, running quarterbacks. If that's what you want to do, you go ahead and do that. Jags defeat the Bills 25-20. Matt Milano out for the year. Daquan Jones, I believe he's also out for the year. Big losses for them. Big losses. The London Jags. Pretty amazing. 25-20. And now Miami will not have to deal with Milano and Daquan Jones, but specifically Milano. Because that guy is a royal pain in the ass for the Miami Dolphins. So now the Dolphins are by themselves in first place. If you continue to take care of business, you can control this division. Lions defeat the Panthers, Miami's opponent next week, 42-24. Carolina is 0-5. Bryce Young threw 2 interceptions yesterday, 3 touchdowns, 25 of 41, 247. Detroit, by the way, is 4-1. Man Campbell proving me wrong in a big-time way. Good for him, man. Those of you that follow the show, I'm not big on rah-rah coaches, and that's how I kind of looked at Man Campbell. Man's coming up with substance, bro. He's 4-1. The Lions look like they're starting to turn that corner, man. They could be a team you got to really take serious. The Jets defeat the Broncos 31-21. Zach Wilson threw an interception. Wasn't anything special. Breece Hall is special. How about Dalvin Cook? 6 rushes for 23 yards. Boy, he's really dominating. $8.6 million. That is such a fine use of money, right? And all the Dolphin fans that wanted to trade for Dalvin Cook or sign Dalvin Cook, whichever one it is. How many regrets you got now after watching Achane? And really, they don't need running backs. They got tons of running backs. It's just funny how I don't root for the Jets, okay? I can't root for the Jets ever to win. But I got to say, I am enjoying Sean Payton losing. Okay? That I got to – look, the Jets are 2-3. They're not going to be a threat to the Dolphins, so I'm not worried about that at all. But I am enjoying Sean Payton squirming and losing and saying, I got to be better, all that crap. Sean Payton, man. I am really enjoying that. Eagles beat the Rams 23-14. Eagles improved to 5-0. Jalen Hurts, a touchdown and interception, 303 yards. A.J. Brown had 127 on 6 catches. Dallas Goedert had 117 on 8 catches and a touchdown. So Eagles continue their winning ways. Miami needs to hand them a loss in 2 weeks. And then we got to get to I forgot when we had this conversation, but it's funny. When I talk about the tests that I really need to see the Dolphins pass, the 2 Bills games, the KC game, and then the Eagles in 2 weeks, right? Those are my measuring games. But I've seen writers write. I've seen radio people and television people and fans. They tell me that the Ravens and the Cowboys are a test. And I laugh at that. And I did a couple days ago because I mentioned, what do the Ravens ever win in the playoffs? What is Lamar? I mean, listen, I'm the guy that's been saying for years, Lamar Jackson will never be a real quarterback. He's a gimmick. He's a phenomenal, beautiful athlete that can run like a deer, but he'll never be a great passer. Okay? So, whatever. So, I don't have any respect for the Ravens. The only thing about the Ravens was that they used to push Miami around. But it's not because you're afraid of Lamar Jackson. Why? You hit him running, but you're not afraid of his arm. You know what I mean? And sure enough, yesterday the Ravens, they lose to the Steelers 17-10. By the way, that was a great interception he threw to Joey Porter Jr. in the end zone. What the accuracy there by Lamar Jackson is amazing. And then he gets stripped by Highsmith, one of his many fumbles that he's had throughout his career. So Lamar loses 17-10. Hey, by the way, the whole Najee Harris thing, how's that turned out? For some that were clamoring so much for Najee Harris, has he really been that force that people thought he would be? Don't spend big money on running backs. Don't spend first rounders on running backs. Don't trade for running backs and give up anything significant. In fact, when it comes to running backs, take the cheap route and have several of them. That's better than putting all your eggs in one basket, because Achane is doing better than Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, and Dalvin Cook combined, because they're either injured or not playing well. That's the combination of those three guys. But the Najee Harris thing, interesting how we have people clamoring, oh my God, you got to go get him. He's a second coming. He's never averaged 4 yards a carry. It's always 3.9 or less. I think it's 3.9 or 3.8 in the first couple of years. So he's never really been this force that people talked about overall. Again, not worth it. And then the other team that they tell me is a test for the Dolphins is the Cowboys. So they lose to the 49ers, 42-10. Dak Prescott throws 3 interceptions in this game. Oh, Dak Prescott choked in a big moment? My God. The Cowboys, since that Jimmy window, they've never won anything. They've choked in every moment. What is it about the media, about the NFL, that you are constantly shoving the Dallas Cowboys in my face? Why are you constantly hyping up a team that has never, listen to me, never lived up to any of the hype that we give them, not me, but others, every year? It's truly amazing, dude. And then writers locally here, some of you on the chat board, right? Maybe even nationally. Well, the Dolphins will see their test against Philadelphia and the Eagles, and against Philadelphia and the Kansas City and the Cowboys and the Ravens. And, really? Really? I hate, this is where you're going to get mad at me out there, Dolphin Nation, a little bit. Okay? The Cowboys and the Dolphins are the same thing. Both rarely make the playoffs. And when they make the playoffs, they get thoroughly embarrassed in the first round, barely ever make it to the second. The Cowboys actually make it a couple more times than Miami to the second, and then they get thoroughly embarrassed. But it's the Cowboys and the Dolphins are in the same threshold. I'm waiting for them to cross that. Cowboys never crossed that threshold. So I'm waiting for the Dolphins to do that. That's why my anger last week with that game was, it's still there, by the way, because I expect more from them. I don't want them to be the Cowboys. And last week they played like the Cowboys, that you come up to a big test and you shit your pants. And that's what cannot happen anymore. You know, see, the problem that we have in the Dolphin Nation is that we have a generational gap. And so we have young fans, right, that they just hang on with hopium all the time. You know, like last week, oh, it's just a game. No, it's not, bro. No, that's the game. That's the game. You got to win. That's the one that shows where you're at, you know? And the reason why I say that, it's because I hate to play the old man card, but I grew up with the guy that used to beat the elite teams all the time. And that's how I will feel confident that the Dolphins have turned the corner, when they're constantly beating the elite teams. When you're either 500 or better against the elite teams, that's when I'll start feeling good. Not that you win 1 out of 7. And yay, we won 1. Yay, we're just happy to be here. No, not enough. Not enough. And so this is where we're at. And that's why I laugh when people, oh no, the Cowboys. Why? Why are you telling me the Cowboys are a test for anybody? When you beat the Cowboys, who the hell says you've arrived? When you beat Lamar Jackson, who says you've arrived? Who? The clueless? Right? So that's where we're at. Unveiling Wilson yesterday could be a commercial to get him moved. Maybe. He played well yesterday. Good for him, man. Jerry negotiated all the big TV contracts. He's made sure a Cowboy gets all the primetime games, no matter how bad they are. That's fine. Just stop selling me bullshit. That's all I'm saying. That's all. Please stop it. And please, writers, don't tell me that that's a test for the Dolphins. It's not a test for the Dolphins. That's where I laugh, because then that means that you have people buying this BS. And I'm not sure why you would ever buy the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you something that I hope happens this week. And I'm going to go off of the 70-point game. So Buffalo played you really well, right? Now they normally do. They own you. They're 12-2 under McDermott, so it doesn't matter the coach. They're 3-1 against McDaniel, so they own the Dolphins overall. But in that 70-point game, you did a lot of things, and you showed a lot of things the week before Buffalo. You've got the Philadelphia Eagles coming up in 2 weeks. Big game, dude. Big measuring stick to find out where you're at. These are the big boys. These are the teams you want to beat. These are the teams you want to measure yourself against that we've been talking about. Can I ask something? Can I pray for something today, this week, to happen for the Dolphins? I'm going to ask Mike McDaniel. It might sound silly on my perspective, but I think it's something that you should do. Whatever you do, don't play Chase Claypool this week. Don't create a small package of couple plays for him. Do not play him. You're playing the Carolina Panthers. You don't need him against the Carolina Panthers. So give him a couple of weeks of practice. Get him really acclimated. Develop a package for him. and unleash him in the Eagles. Do not show one bit of what you could possibly do with Chase Claypool against a Carolina Panthers team that you don't need him. And again, I'm not saying that Chase Claypool is this secret weapon. All of a sudden they acquired a receiver that's going to be the best one in their team. And I'm not saying any of that. But he is the unknown. You don't know how McDaniel's going to use him. So at least use some kind of element of surprise with Chase Claypool in 2 weeks. And by the way, at the same time, you don't rush it. Look, he's not going to know the playbook this year at all. So what you're going to do is create little packages of plays for him. Hey, you're going to do on this route either or. In this play, you're going to do this. Here, you're going to do that. In this one here, you're going to do either or. You know, whatever. You're going to give him certain options on certain plays, and that's it. But I was thinking about this. Have a little fun with this. A little bit of the element of surprise, okay? Chase hasn't been a part of your system. He's a big body receiver. You could do different things with him. Don't put him on display with Carolina. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I know there's a flip side to this, that you do want to play him because you want to get him acclimated and all that kind of stuff. But I think if you do anything, save him for a week. Try to keep some kind of element of surprise. Okay? All right, let's take a quick break. Give us 2 minutes here so we can start off hour number 2 of the program. Baptist Health of South Florida, proud sponsor of our program. You don't need to be a professional athlete to go where the pros go. The doctors at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care can see you now. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to request an appointment and get yourself back in the game. Use that QR code right there. So if you got an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back in the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty. You know, I've been talking about this since the loss to Buffalo that got me pissed. And I know some of you got all bent out of shape, but this is the kind of shit here. Fair Yala. Appreciate you watching, my brother. But see, this shows your bias. Big O, Tua also needs to prove that he can beat elite teams, that he's played great against average teams, but average against good teams. Well, the problem is your team has to be great also, my brother. Was he terrible against Buffalo? He wasn't terrible against Buffalo, but it's a team thing. This has been going on for over 30 years. Why do you think I got so pissed last week? Because it's the same shit as the Dallas Cowboys. Like I always laugh. I laugh when anybody tells me that the Dallas Cowboys is a test for the Dolphins, when the Dallas Cowboys themselves have never passed the test. They had their era with Jimmy Johnson when they were great. Since then, they've been frauds from the get-go. You know what I mean? So when you say, oh, Tua, no, dude, the whole organization, they have not learned how to win at a high level for decades now. That's why I'm still furious from last week. Because this team, I've been around this long enough. This is the most talented Dolphins team in well over 30 years. It's time you start going and winning games in the playoffs. But if you don't start beating the Bills and you don't start beating KC or Philadelphia, you're not going to get there. Beating Dallas and Baltimore never gets you there. Okay? Two things that get overhyped. Lamar fucking Jackson and the Dallas Cowboys. Those fucking clowns for the Cowboys never win anything. And everybody hypes them to hell. Lamar Jackson pees in his pants every time he's in the playoffs. It's a gimmick offense, and it will never be a pure passer. Ever. He'll be an athlete that once in a while will beat you with his legs. Once in a blue moon, his arm will be on target. They're not tests for you. The test for the Dolphins comes in 2 weeks, comes with Kansas City, and comes with the Bills again. You got to start winning those games. You win those games, and you can feel good about going in the playoffs. You keep losing those games, you're going to be the same team the Cowboys have been for 30 years. first round exit, miracle you get to the second round, and they eliminate you anyways. We're happy to be here. That's not good enough. Time for Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All rise, football fans. As the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis-Jacques is in session.
Welton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All right, let's rock and roll. How you feel? There you go. There you go. Is that Michael Jordan soaring in the air back there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've finally been putting the office together. You know, a couple lanyards up, at least one photo. You know, it's a slow process, but a process.
That's a good photo to have.
It's funny. I actually, I swear I've told this story before, but maybe not. The newspaper I worked at in Seguin, Texas, right? I was a sports editor. And I go in the back room to find a notebook or something. It's our equipment room, supply room. I see this just laying on the ground, propped up against the wall. And I was like, what is it? I take it out to the newsroom. I said, whose is this? Why is this here? And they tell me the old sports editor left it in there while he was moving. And then he planned to come back and get it, but it's been in there for a year and he never came back for it. So I told him, I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep it in my house, in my living room. When he needs to come get it, if he ever comes back, I will go home and I'll give it to him. But until then, finders keepers. And he never came back for it.
That's it. It was lost and you found it. That's all.
I mean, me personally, I would never leave this at work and forget about it. Me personally, I would never store it.
Yeah.
That's
ridiculous.
This has been to 5 different apartments with me, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different states. And it has always come. It's always made the trip. There's never been a question of where MJ is going to be. So someone like me, I'm personally going to be taking MJ from the free throw line. But, hey, shout out Tucker, man. Thank you.
All right, so what'd you think of yesterday's win?
It was a win. It was a win. Much better defensive performance than we saw against the Bills, although it is to be expected because this was the New York Giants that was missing half of its offensive line and its best overall player in Saquon Barkley. So I mean, you better hold this damn team under 250 yards. But I'm looking right now to see what was the total net. 205 passing yards, 50 rushing yards. 85 rushing yards. Could be better. Could be worse.
Yeah.
I thought the biggest takeaway
turnovers made it closer than it should have been. Actually, that's where it got a little sloppy. Again, it was a win, which is great and great for the team. But was it a clean win? No, not against that team. You should have been cleaner.
No, this really, if you take away, let's call it 10 points, right? The interception in negative territory and then the pick 6. So you take away 10 points, you add 7 because instead of pick 6, they're on the 2-yard line. You gotta be able to score there. You add 7, all of a sudden it's 38-6.
Right.
And that's about what you should have done to this team. This should have been a 30 to 40 point win, not a 2-score win, essentially. It's just two touchdowns and a 2-point conversion away from being a totally different game. Don't get me wrong, that was never going to happen. It's a 2-score game only in word alone. Only on a technicality, it is a 2-score win. But this really should have been like a 30-point dub on paper. But I think, again, 2 big takeaways I had from this game, right? Number 1, you turn the ball over 3 times and still drop 31 points with 500 yards. With no turnovers, 30 points and 500 yards is a damn good game.
Yes.
It's a damn good game. That tells you where the floor of this offense is. And number two, if we look at Tua's performance yesterday, let me pull up the exact stats right now. 22 of 30, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 200 and I believe 33 of his passing yards were after the catch. This was a yak game. It is what it is. This was a yak game. It wasn't his most impressive performance in a Dolphins uniform.
He wasn't sharp. He
wasn't his best at all. He wasn't. I would say it is slightly below average from what we have come to expect from Tua this year, and that is the takeaway here. Not that, oh my God, Tua played bad. You guys can't ever let him. You can't ever compliment him. No. The standard and the expectation for Tua has now risen to the point where a 300-yard game, we could say, wasn't that great. 2 years ago, 300 with 2 interceptions. Yeah, Tua played good enough to win. Tua played well. This was a good game for Tua. Right now, he can do better. And like that just tells you how far this franchise, this program has risen over the past couple of years. Those were my major takeaways from the game.
Yeah. And Andrew Van Ginkel must start from here on out. I don't give a shit. Whatever happens with Jalen Phillips, let Phillips and Chubb work themselves out opposite of Andrew Van Ginkel. Andrew Van Ginkel is your number one pass rusher and your number one defensive player right now.
It is an uncomfortable position because he is also the player who you invested the least amount of assets into.
Bad.
But football's a meritocracy. I don't think Bradley Chubb was horrible yesterday. The sack numbers were not there, but if I remember correctly, seven pressures.
The whole season.
Hits.
The whole season. Chubb has got pressures for the whole season. Actually, he doesn't have bad numbers in his pressures. Actually,
you want the big number. You want the sack numbers. Like that's the pretty thing. That's what gets you paid. That's what technically got him paid before. He had 5 sacks, I think, in 10 weeks or 5 sacks in 9 weeks. When they traded for him last year, he had, I think it was 12 or something like that as a rookie. Like he has shown he can be a plus sack guy, but we just haven't necessarily seen it here. This was the Van Ginkel game. And look, man, they got kind of an issue coming up because I don't think he's going to be cheap. I was talking to another writer yesterday who said, Stephen Ross should pull Van Ginkel aside and say, hey, look, man, we're going to offer you $4.5 a year. I was like, $4.5?
He's going to make more than that if he continues.
$4.5?
A lot more.
I'm not saying he's like a 17, 18 top high-end TJ Watt type money, but you better be prepared to pay 8 to 12 for Andrew Van Ginkel coming up. So somebody's got to go.
Well, listen, you're not bringing back Raekwon at this pace. You're definitely not bringing back Agba, right? So, you have some guys that you're going to part ways with. By the way, Christian Wilkins is not coming back either. At all. Not coming back. So, you're going to move on from that too. Because if he wants sack money and he's not producing sacks, he's not getting paid here. So, by the way, his number at this point at the pace he's at.
The problem there, though, is that at that point, you're rebuilding your front seven. You're almost totally rebuilding your front seven. And I don't know, based on the timeline that this team has and the finances and assets available, I'm not 100% positive how feasible that is to shake things up that drastically. Granted, maybe, Vic Fangio has even more input on and can handpick his guys and put together defense that he knows will work. We'll get there when we get there. We'll see when we see. But that is still, like I said, they have kind of a problem coming up this offseason. That in itself.
X is gone too. That's also a big number gone.
It's going to be an interesting offseason. Because, they're not quite like the difference between like this team and like the greatest show on turf era Rams is like those Rams defenses were bad. I believe in 2000, they still have the record for most points allowed by a team with a winning record. The Dolphins aren't going to be that. It's not like the Dolphins have their offense and the Broncos defense. or their offense and the Giants defense or the Cardinals defense. Like this is a middle of the pack. Some days they'll pop, some days they'll drop, but it's a real middle of the pack defense right now.
This is the most balanced Dolphins team. My brother.
On offense, I just wrote about that last night as well.
40 years, easily.
That offensive balance is absurd.
No, I mean offense and defense. They've never.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They've always been one-sided. The Marino years, they were all offense, no defense. And then after that, since post-Marino, you were mostly all defense. You were never any offense. The only offense you ever had was Jay Ajayi 1 year, Lamar Smith 1 year, Ricky Williams 2 years. That was your offense.
Smith or Miller? Lamar Miller.
No, Lamar Smith. Lamar Smith.
Is there a Lamar Smith?
Yeah, Lamar Smith. When that was with the Colts and then with us, that Dave Wanstead got on his back. And
got you. I thought you were talking about Lamar
early 2000s. So the 3 times they had an offense. Oh, no, 4. The stupid Wildcat. And that's a shitty offense.
Revolutionary Wildcat.
Whatever. A gimmick that ran out after a couple games. But the Wildcat, a Jay Ajayi year, the Lamar Smith year, and the 2 years for Ricky Williams. Outside that, you've always been a defensive-minded team, and you've had some pretty good defenses in the last 30 years, but never any offenses to complement it. Now you've got a monster offense, the best you've had since the 70s, and now you've got a defense maybe since the early 80s. So, yeah, it's this is a balance that I'm not used to as a Dolphins fan, by the way.
But just while we're on the
so pissed against the Bills because come on, man, you can't lose by 28 in that game. You got to do better than that, bro.
I would say the Bills are to the Dolphins what the 49ers are to the Cowboys right now, except that they don't play as often. But it is just that obstacle that you can't seem to get past. They beat them last year. I know they beat them last year. It's still just that one roadblock that you can't seem to push through. And at a certain point, because talent-wise, the Bills are not better than the Dolphins. Like talent on paper, roster-wise, that's not a better team than the Miami Dolphins are. It's got to be up here when you face up against this damn team, when you face 17 on the other side, and he's doing whatever the hell he wants every week. It's a mental block at this point. It's not quite, it's not a quite one-to-one fit because the Niners are truly better than the Cowboys. They're better and they're that mental roadblock. But it's the same concept in that this is an obstacle you haven't been able to get past. Like they should be able to get past them. That's what made last week's game so frustrating was like this is not a 28-point gap between these teams. There's not a 28-point gap between those teams.
There was 3 games last year. There weren't 28 points in between the 3 games.
It was like 8 points between the 3 games.
How many was the difference in those 3 games? What was it?
Like
10, 12 points, 15 points? Maybe.
I mean, it was 3 in the last 2 of them alone, so that's 6. And then the Dolphins won by, 5? I think.
That swings
it's like 12.
Yeah,
like 12.
So it's less than that. So if it was 6 and then the Dolphins won, then and they won by what, a point or 2 or 3? What was it that they won by? So then the difference was like 3 points or 4 points in between all 3 games. But, by the way, on the Cowboy thing, it's not just a Niners thing. They don't win anything. They don't win any big games, any big moments. They don't win in the playoffs. They're constantly choking, by the way. Okay? Constantly.
Buffalo?
No, the Cowboys.
Oh, the Cowboys. Yeah.
Never win anything, dude. Post Jimmy, they've never won anything. Every time they get hyped up for everything. It's just not a Niners thing. And Dak Prescott, my God, that guy chokes in every big moment that he plays in. It's really amazing to me. But my point with the Dolphins is the kind of talent they have. I need you to start winning those kind of games. Like in 2 weeks, that's where I'm measuring you. I'm measuring you against the Eagles, dude. I need you to either win that game, or if you lose that game, it better be one that you lost right at the end of that game.
And this is what I was talking. We were talking about. I believe the last time I was on the show is that like that's the beauty of the Dolphins schedule this year is there's a handful of these games where you can use it as a measuring stick. Obviously, it was Bills earlier in the season. It was Chargers at the beginning of the year as well, considering how at the time it was the Chargers game was a measuring stick to be able to go on the road in week one to hasn't played in a year. Your defense couldn't stop a nosebleed in that game.
Daniel, because he got stumped. Not really. The Chargers don't accomplish anything. They're not really.
They're not. But like, we're not going to sit here and act like we didn't circle that game. The media, fans, like it was absolutely. So like that was a measuring stick game. Not really Patriots the next week. I've been saying the Patriots were trash for months. I don't even feel good bragging about that because it was so obvious.
Can we question Belichick more? Are people going to start doing this?
Do you want you want the Belichick take?
Without Tom Brady, bro, he's nothing, dude.
He has done nothing to beat the Tom Brady popped you up allegations. He's done nothing to prove they didn't. Besides that one, I think 10-win, 11-win season with Matt Castle under center where they caught lightning in a bottle, but I still think they missed the playoffs if I remember correctly.
Oh, and that team was loaded. Go look at that roster, bro. Oh my God, that was a great roster. Matt Castle, all he had to do was facilitate and get out of the way, dude. That team was loaded, bro.
I think I've said it. I've been saying it all offseason. I don't think Mac Jones is very good. Not that he's not very good. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's an NFL starter. I think he's a stopgap type quarterback. But even if he wasn't, I feel like that. Even if he wasn't, they have not given him the necessary tools to succeed there. Your number one receiver is who? It's
Bourne.
who?
Bourne?
Kendrick Bourne?
I guess.
No disrespect to Kendrick Bourne, but like
taking a guess.
Like Kendrick Bourne's not a number one receiver. Like it is what it is. He's not a number. He's a good NFL player. He's a good player. But like if that's who you're looking for, hey, it's second and long. We need to get something close to the sticks. It's third and long. We need something. There are better options in the NFL than Kendrick Bourne. They traded for Devontae Parker to what? For what? Like to try to recapture his 2020 form, the only, the outlying season in his career. The guy can't separate, and Mac Jones struggles to hit tight windows. So like, this is not an offense that's even built for Mac Jones. And on top of that, he's struggling, and it's at a point where it might be too far gone. But either way, that fifth-year option is not getting picked up. There's not a lot of coaches that survive getting a first-round quarterback wrong. There's not a lot of GMs that survive that. Mm-hmm. There's even fewer GM/coaches that survive that. It's tough when you're flipping both sides of the coin here, your Bill. This seems like a perfect scenario at the end of the season for Bob Kraft to say, hey, look, this isn't working out anymore. Because of what you've accomplished, why don't we mutually part ways? Why don't we say you don't want to be part of a rebuild, and we have decided to pull the plug on this whole roster as currently constructed. That saves me the blowback of firing the best coach in NFL history, the most accomplished coach in NFL history. That saves you the embarrassment of getting fired from a place you won 6 Super Bowls with. Like it works out for everybody. Like that's where I think the Patriots are going this year. And like now it's the popular take because it's becoming more obvious. But like I'm telling you, I've been saying this usually on the radio, usually on ESPN radio. But I've been saying this for months. Like this is that the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, I said that he would be on the hot seat after this season for next year. By the way, just out of curiosity, the Devontae Parker trade, is that a Chan? Because it was a third rounder. I'm wondering. I don't know.
It was a third rounder. I thought it was a third rounder in.
I'm not sure. That's why, Sean, can you look up for me the Chan or when The Parker pick.
I thought it was in the 23. I thought it was in the not the 23. I thought it was in the 22 draft.
I wasn't sure.
I thought it was in the 22 draft. But no, because they traded one. They had one got taken, right?
Right, yeah, because the stupid idiot. Yeah, but the one that gets taken is yours, not the one you get traded for. So they lost their third rounder, and then I don't know what they used to acquire Jalen Ramsey. Okay, here we go.
That's right. They did. That's how they lost.
The Dolphins sent Parker and a 2022 fifth-round pick to the Patriots for a 2023 third rounder.
And that third rounder, did that become a Chan?
That I have to find out. Let me see.
Okay, because
they sent a third-round pick and Hunter Long to LA for Jalen Ramsey.
Right, and then the third rounder for a Chan. So one of them became no. I think the Ramsey one comes from Tunsil. I think that third rounder comes from the Niners. I think it's that Chris Greer has made some trades that have just grown and grown.
If this is the case, because you're dead right, and it's not something, I'll admit, that's not something I really thought about. But if this is the revelation here, if we find out right now that was Devontae
Parker and a fifth rounder into A-Chan, bro, this guy's the baddest ass GM on the planet, dude. The Tunsil trade and the San Francisco trade already. You should put fucking a gold statue of his ass outside the stadium.
So New England did have a third round pick this year. I do not know where it came from. I've got to.
No, it's fifth round.
Miami. I'm saying this year New England picked in the.
Oh, okay, yeah. That might have been. Well, yeah. I don't know if it's theirs or somebody else's, but that third round pick from New England either became Jalen Ramsey or Devon Chan, which is.
Let me see. When was that? Okay, here we go. No, so okay, Patriots traded the 2023 third round pick, 77th overall, to the Dolphins for Devontae Parker and a 2022 fifth round pick. That 2023 third rounder became Byron Young. So it was the pick traded to the Rams. The pick traded to the Rams.
Okay, so the pick for the Patriots became Jalen Ramsey.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, so then where did we get a Chan from?
That
Chan was our original pick, number 84.
Was their original pick?
Yeah. I'm looking at the draft order right now. The Dolphins were slated at number 84 in the third round.
That doesn't make sense because they took away their third round pick.
For next year, I believe, right?
Yeah, it might be.
You're right. They lost
first round this year, third round.
You are correct, sir. Nice job by you. I forgot about that. I thought both were lost on the same draft.
No, that would be OD. That makes more sense.
No, very nice, Sean. Very nice. Thank you, sir.
Good producing. Good production.
Okay, good.
Right. But either way, like it made it possible. The pick made it possible to grab A-Chan because they had a third round pick to spare.
Yeah, that would have been but man, that would have been cool if that would have turned into a Chan. But either way, it would
have been funny.
It's amazing. And to watch after all the talk in the offseason of all these running backs, and running back is the least of your concerns on this team. I mean, seriously, how deep they don't even use Chris Brooks. And we're all dying to see Chris Brooks play more, but how the hell do you play more when the top two guys are tearing it up, bro? I mean, that kid was only averaging 33 yards a carry early on in the game.
It's going to be interesting because Jeff Wilson's healthy. I talked to him in the locker room. He said he felt good. It's not something I think I can quote him on. And I think Drew Rosenhaus's agent went on Channel 7, whatever channel he goes on, to say that his client will be ready. But, like, that's kind of I imagine that's, of course, Drew's gonna say that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's kind of what the platform is for him.
But like, I think there is a role. I think there's a role for him from a fantasy perspective. It stings because but I think it saps more of Raheem Mostert's carries than it does Devon Achane. I think Achane still can be your guy between the 20s. It's just gonna kind of ruin his red zone and goal line value. Jeff Wilson's got to be your hammer. Like Jeff Wilson can be your hammer. Like there is a role. There's a role for him there. I don't know if there's a role for Ahmed, but there's a role for Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, but they're not hammering much because if you really wanted to, you could hammer with Chris Brooks, and they just leave him there. So it's almost like he wants to reward the guys that got you there. So he keeps Mostert and Achane in there, even in the short yardage situations. He doesn't really. Rarely does he go to Chris Brooks, or will he go to Jeff Wilson? Will he do the same kind of thing? Because Brooks has been trustworthy.
Meritocracy, man. Meritocracy. And
okay.
I mean, at this point, I know Achane's yards per carry is not sustainable. You don't just average 11 yards a carry. No. But like what I was surprised at, and I wrote about this last week, what I was surprised at was he leads the league in yards before contact. It's not particularly close either. He's also was the fourth in the league entering the week in yards after first contact. Like that's a problem that Dolphins running backs have struggled with over the past several years is, you're getting a little bit of push from the O-line, but you can't break a tackle. Myles Gaskin, Salvon Ahmed, these guys were not built to break a tackle. And God, I always forget the guy's name. He was the third running back on this team, or the second running back in 2021. Big guy. Like
the Wisconsin guy that played for the Bears, Howard.
No, no. He played for the Rams and came over from the Rams.
Oh.
I used to text one of the writers, one of the beat guys here about it all the time because he's this big, bruising, 230-pound back who kept dancing every time he got the ball. He would juke. He would think he's Barry Sanders, and it's like, bro, you need
go
to
ahead, Sean.
Is it John Lovett?
No.
No, you're talking about a couple years ago.
21.
Yeah. Malcolm Brown?
That's it.
That's it.
Brown.
By the way, you're getting a lot of congrats, and Randy Constance sent in a super chat on the engagement. So I want to make sure I mention it because everybody's mentioning it here on the chat board. I'll make sure that if we get it in here before you go. Congratulations, my brother.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. That was a lot of stress off my brain because, Lord knows we spent plenty of time. I spent plenty of time thinking about it. She had no idea. She had no idea it was coming when it came. She knew it was coming eventually, obviously. There's no way you pop this question without knowing what the answer was. Everybody was asking, like, were you nervous? It's like, no. I was stressed that, like, all parts of our plan would go as according to plan. But I wasn't nervous. I was asking a question I knew the answer to. That was fine. I don't know how people do it.
We see some no's in some of these sports arenas and stuff like that. I've seen the woman like walk away and the guy, so sometimes some people don't have a feel for the room. So I don't know. That happens sometimes, So
yeah, not here, man. No, we've been talking about it for a while. I knew what I was going to get. I knew what the answer was going to be for a long time. And I mean, y'all go ring shopping too. So like, not exactly like just to get the size. I let her pick out, I let her shop around some rings and talk to the clerk. But I already have the ring, so I was like, oh, this is a moot point. You're showing me these oval cuts and this and that, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty. Your ring is hidden in a shoebox right now. So that's. There's the one place I knew she was not going to look is my big wall in my closet full of shoeboxes.
I never took my wife. I don't know if it's a Latin thing, but I've never took my wife for both of her rings to shop because I gave her the ring when we first got married, and then I gave her a new one in our 25th wedding anniversary in Paris. That's where that Eiffel Tower is from. That I bought it in Paris. And so I never took her ring shopping. Like, she saw the ring for the first time when I gave it to her at the altar, or 25 years later, actually. So I don't know if it's a Latin thing or if it's just my dumbass that did it. Did I do it wrong? Am I supposed to like take her?
I mean, Haley didn't see, she had no idea what this one was looking like or would look like. I just needed her size. That was my biggest, that was the only thing I was nervous about, was like, please let this thing fit. And it fit well, and it looks good. I think she's happy.
That is awesome. That's good shit. All right, man. What do you got going on ESPN so folks can check you out, my friend?
I got a story coming on the offensive balance of this team. It's not a run-first team. It's not a pass-first team. This is finally an offense that can get the ball done, that can make explosive things happen from any position on the field.
Amen.
Any position on the field. We saw it, in its prime form yesterday. And then later this week, I want to explore the dynamic of what allowed Tua to change that play at the line of scrimmage, the touchdown to Tyreek Hill. The fact that he is in a position where he feels like he has the permission essentially to do so, where he has McDaniel's trust. From McDaniel's perspective, how he calls a play and he notices they're not lining up in the correct formation, and he fights the urge to call a timeout because, as he says, his players were convicted in where they lined up. Nobody was looking back and forth. Everybody knew exactly where they were supposed to be, and he just, that trust and letting them do their thing. And I didn't get to get the question in on Sunday. I will get it in on Wednesday or today. I wonder if that's something that he would have felt comfortable doing last year in his first year as a coach. Like, were you comfortable letting your players do their own thing? So I think it speaks volumes to where this team is right now. The trust in each other, the comfort and confidence they have, the command of the offense he's got. Granted, I mean, he could have just maybe Tua saw the personnel and figured they were going to go single high, or maybe he noticed, oh, wow, they're man-to-man right now. Like, what did he say last year? If they're covering Tyreek man-to-man, I am throwing the ball to Tyreek.
Please. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
by the way, one more thing before I let you go. I've talked about this on the show, just thinking a little outside the box. Most players, as we know, they're not going to learn the playbook in 1 year, obviously. So I know that Chase Claypool is not going to learn the playbook. They're probably going to give him piecemeal and institute packages for him to get him involved early on. I say, please don't use him at all this week. Save him for Philadelphia. Give him 2 weeks of practice so he feels even better. Create some packages for him so he feels even more comfortable. But why show anything in a game you don't need it? And I'm not saying Chase Claypool is the secret weapon. Bro, Tyreek and Waddle are the shit. You don't need anything else. But why not just have a little ace in your back pocket waiting there?
I will say, I think that I think it's a hand in glove fit. As I see it's starting to rain out now, I might need to take the dogs inside. So I'll say this before I go. I think he could be a better version of the Ezukama in the Ezukama role than Eric was, because now you've got a guy there. He's faster, he's bigger, he's stronger.
Improving.
And it's a way to get his confidence up, his way to just get the ball in his hands quickly. It requires less blocking than it would being out wide. I think it's interesting. So I'm sure we'll get to talk to him this week, though, and we'll talk to Mike about it here in a few hours.
Do you agree? Save him for next. Not that you can ask that to Mike because he's not going to tell you. But if you're McDaniel, don't you save him for the following week and not this week?
I guess it depends on what the plan is. If you plan to use him like Ezukama, then maybe not. Maybe go ahead and get him some run.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ and catch his fantastic work there at ESPN. Marcel, congratulations, and thank you for taking time as always.
Yes, sir. See y'all.
Thank you. Welt and Rayom, call my guys. Jeff and Dan, 954-966-4646. Personal injury, commercial litigation, condo damage, criminal damage. See, it's raining. You got water damage from some rain, or maybe it's a busted pipe, yours. the condo next door, the townhouse next door, whatever it is, you may have a case. And maybe something happened to you over the last month, the last 6 months, last year or two, and you don't know if the statute of limitations have run out. Please call. The consultation is free. Questions are free. They will then take care of it from there on out. So call them, man. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with Marcel Louis-Jacques. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right, let's get to some super chats. Devin Jordan, Big O. Now the new narrative being talked about on national media is that the Dolphins haven't played anybody yet. So far, they've played a soft schedule, and that's why they're 4-1. Listen, dude, I don't care about any of that. I'm not worried about those things. I'm worried about the big games. That's where I want to see if you're ready to take the next step. And that's what's going to prove that you're going to have success in the playoffs. There's a reason why teams like the Dolphins never do anything in the playoffs, because they can't beat the elite on a consistent basis. When you're 2-12 against Buffalo since McDermott took over, you will never get anywhere. You have to start beating Buffalo and beating them often. So I don't care about the soft schedule. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I'm worried about proving yourself in bigger games. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want to be the same team you've been for a long time where you don't step up in those moments. Frankie Fresco, if Dolphins need to prove they can hang with elite teams, it should not matter what they do with Claypool. Just get out there and beat the Eagles. Well, that's why I'm saying don't display him in Carolina. Give him another week. Randy, I read yours. Thank you for the love on the super chat there, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And as always, you can make a Bitcoin donation. We always love our Bitcoin donations. Bitcoin, by the way, is still at 27,500. Right. Let's see. What else do we have going on? What's going on with the market? Market is down 24 points. S&P down 8 points. And the NASDAQ barely down. All right, what do we have here on the chat board? Let's see. Eric says, these are the same cats that were kissing Finn's asses in the beginning. Us Finns fans, we know our Finns game by game. R.I.P. Butkus. Okay. Congrats, Marcel. There we go. True Finn fan. The way it's looking right now, I'm willing to bet Tua doesn't get hurt and puts up some crazy numbers. All Miami needs to do is stay healthy and figure out the defense. Well, Tua's playing really smart, man. He's getting rid of the football. He doesn't take any stupid chances. It's beautiful the way Tua's playing. He can play for 15 more years. You know what I mean? You just got to be smart, and he's playing smart. And that's why he's there every single week. I like the tweet. Marcel took a knee, unlike Cristobal. Let's see. Nice job by all of you congratulating Marcel, by the way. Very nice. Devon Achan is ranked the number 2 running back in the NFL right now. Who's number 1, by the way? Who's number 1? Can you tell me there, Sean? Thank you for looking it up. Let's see. Jim Gleason. Big O Show only spreads facts, no BS. This is why they are the best in the biz. Please ask. Oh, Marcel, I'm sorry. What the hell happened to Jalen Phillips in practice 4 weeks ago to cause? They're not going to tell you, bro. That part, Jim, nobody's going to tell you. It's just he's got an oblique injury, and wherever he got it, and it is what it is. Greer is trading Jeff Wilson Jr. for a draft pick next year. Would you be surprised? It's only 3 games played. Achan is second in the NFL in rushing behind C-Mac. Oh, Christian McCaffrey. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, he's had a really good year. So that makes sense that Christian McCaffrey would be 1 and he's 2. Okay. That's good. That's probably the answer you're going to give me, right, Sean? John Geeb just sent in a super chat. How have you gauged McDaniel in-game coaching this year in terms of growth from last year? Well, the Buffalo game told me you still need to grow. You know, that's the pre-snap penalties, the challenge, and you won one this week only because your special teams coach is incompetent. So really, you didn't win a challenge. So they're getting the plays in a little faster, you know, but he got stifled by the Bills, by McDermott. He couldn't figure out what the Bills were doing, and he couldn't counter it. So that didn't improve from last year when he got stifled by the Chargers and he had no answer. And then the following week, San Fran kind of did the same thing, and you had no answer. And last week, McDermott stifles you, and you have no answer. So I'm going to tell you the improvement is very little from last year. There are still issues with McDaniel as a young coach getting it done. But this is part of the growth process. So I can be patient with McDaniel, but I can also tell you it's not good enough. Okay? It's good enough against scrubs and the middling of the league, but if you want to win a Super Bowl, you need to do better against the elite. So I would tell you McDaniel has slightly improved from last year as a game day coach. Not enough. And he's got to have a much quicker answer and counter to what people are doing when you do get stifled. And 2 weeks ago, great example. You're getting stifled by the Bills, and you have no answer and no counterpunch. So I can't give him a very high grade in that sense. Just being honest. Ricardo Cuchican. Big O. I was at the game yesterday. Great win as a win. Being Argentinian and also soccer fan, I'm always surprised how the fans are not as loud as this team, the most exciting in decades, deserves. You had a lot of Giants fans yesterday there. So the stadium wasn't. And let me tell you something. This game was not a sexy game for the fan base. The hardcore, okay? You know, the NorCals of the world, the 305 sports babes, the Big E's, you know, the Dolphreakies, you know, the Gorilla, what is it? Is it Gorilla Lou or what is it? God, what's the Gorilla guy's name or how he's pronounced? But anyways, all those kind of super fans, right? Nothing changes for them every day, every week. But the average Dolphin fan was not so keen and pumped up about this game because the Giants brought zero excitement. Most fans expected a win, so they weren't necessarily watching this game all, crazy. I think some fans decided to sell their tickets to Giants fans because they said, this is a shitty game. Dolphins are going to rout them. I'll come back, for another game next time. This one, I'll make some money off of a New Yorker that wants to buy the tickets. So I saw a very uninspired approach to this game by the fans. Not the hardcore, okay? The hardcore Papa Pump, exactly. The hardcore, the Dolphin Bandits, Gorilla Luke, that's it. The hardcore, the Dudley Do-Wrongs, they're going to do it all the same way, no matter what. You could be 2-10, or they could be 10-2. those people are never going to change. Okay? Those the Dolphin Bandits, those maniacs are going to be faces painted up and the killer cars and all that kind of stuff. Those people never change, no matter what. They could be terrible. They could be great. They're the same fans all the time. That's not the normal fan. And you could tell by the response from people. You could tell by the attendance. You could just tell this was a game that a lot of Dolphins said, oh, they're going to take care of them. I'll go do something else. I'll watch it from the house, make a little extra money. I don't feel like going to the stadium and sweating my ass off. So a lot of Dolphin fans stayed home. Maybe went on a vacation. I don't know. You know what I mean? And this game did not bring the sexiness that others do, that an AFC East game brings, that a big name team brings. And next week, coming up with Carolina, it'll be the same crap all over again. Us hardcore, we're going to watch, we're going to talk about it, all that kind of stuff. But some of the average fans, oh, bro, it's Carolina. They suck. They're 0-5. Miami will smoke them. I'll watch them next week. I'll go next week. Well, actually, that one's on the road, if I'm correct, right? And Philly's on the road. But they'll wait for that kind of game. That's the kind of vibe I got this week from the Dolphin fan base, that it's like, yeah, no big deal. Another big fan out there is Frankie Fresco, says Frankie Fresco. Big O, how about AVG? He is certified sponsor. Yes, he is. Let's see. It's never easy watching Finns keep us on our toes. I don't know if it was a sellout, Stax Johnson. It might have been a sellout, but I doubt everybody appeared because it looked like there was some empty seats in there. Miami Popple says, I'm going to the stadium this Sunday for the game with the wife and kids, although he put wide and kids. If anyone else is going, I'm down to meet at the tailgate. Well, Miami Popple, there's a lot of great tailgates. So you should look for the tailgates. Big E, Dolph Freaky. They got all kinds of tailgates going on. There's a whole bunch of good ones out there. Paul in Connecticut says Monster fan. He is. I've been dealing with Paul in Connecticut for many, many, many years, and he is a crazed maniac. By the way, I had a really good time last night, even if I had to deal with an arrogant asshole that was drunk at the Smiths concert. Out of all concerts, like you go to a metal concert or a rock concert, you run into some idiots. And so I had some drunken idiot behind me, and I had to kind of try to put him in his place. And then his friend was trying to, control him. And then he started bugging another person. Then he ended up getting kicked out eventually. But it's one of those, some of you out there, if you can't handle your alcohol, you probably shouldn't drink. And it was one of these kind of assholes yesterday that can't handle their alcohol. And I really wanted to knock the crap out of him. Really. I really wanted to unload on the guy. But it's just one of those things. Luckily, his friend, who looked like actually a normal human being, but it's a problem when you go out with one of your friends that is an alcoholic and is a terrible drunk. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go out with those kind of people. And but outside of that, it was for a few moments, and then I felt bad for the other guy. Because, again, he was kind of like moving around and running into people and all that. And it's like, but it's like you're drunk and you don't realize it, that you're hitting and running into people and stuff. So, but it was a good concert. Enjoyed it with Morrissey. I wish he was here for several. It shows how weak we are in this town, because there was the second and third levels were not sold. They were closed off. So the only thing is they sold the bottom of the Hard Rock. And, when I was in Vegas, It was sold to the top Caesars, all levels for him. So it's interesting how you go to different places, and there's a reason why here in South Florida we don't get all the acts to come. And those of us that are hardcore, you know what I'm talking about. We end up traveling for music, which royally sucks when you got to travel for music because you're spending extra money because of that damn stuff. Well, outside of Morrissey, let's do a little birthdays. How about that on October 9th? Let's start it off, baby. Bella Hadid, the model, she is 27 years old. John Lennon was born on this date in 1940. Unfortunately, we lost him in 1980. Man, our country, it was like a standstill when John Lennon went down. And obviously, Howard Cosell mentioning it in the middle of a Monday Night Football game. And that was just, that was worldwide shocking news. Tyler James Williams, who played Chris Rock as a kid in that show, is 31 today. Megan Maroney, the country singer, she is 36 years old. Sharon Osbourne is 71 years old. Tennis player Ben Shelton is 21. Sean, he was born on this date in 1967. We lost him in 2005. Wrestler Eddie Guerrero. Legit? Okay. Rest in peace, Eddie. Whether you were legit or not, you're on this list. So, you got to have some kind of fame if you're on this list. Let's see. What else do we have? This is why I will never be on this list. George Kittle, tight end, 30 years old. Steve Burns, actor, is 50 years old. Scott McCreery, country singer, is 30 years old today. Guillermo de la Torre, director, is 59. Who else celebrating? Tony Shalhoub is 70 years old. Sean Lennon, John Lennon's son, was also born on this date on his birthday. He is 48 years old. And that's it. That is birthdays. And now let's go with a little music history. On October 9th, today in music history, in 1987, Bruce Springsteen released his 8th studio album, Tunnel of Love. In 1993, Nirvana entered the album charts at number 1 with In Utero, their 3rd and final studio album. In 2010, to celebrate what would have been John Lennon's 70th birthday, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame sealed 3 capsules filled with the singer's post-Beatles recordings and fan contributions. They'll open them up October 9th of 2040. In 2001, Bono, REM singer Michael Stipe, and Moby made unannounced appearances at the second of 2 anti-violence benefit concerts in New York, organized by the Beastie Boys. In 2003, on this date, 172 Limp Bizkit fans sued the band for storming off the stage after just 17 minutes at the group's Chicago stop on their summer sanitarium tour. The band had been bombarded with garbage. That, my friends, is what happened today in music history. By the way, they had the Power Trip Festival this weekend. Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Metallica and, a bunch of bands. AC/DC made their comeback at the Power Trip. And these old geezers, by the way, put on one hell of a show. They did 24 songs. If You Want Blood, You've Got It, Back in Black, Demon Fire, Shot Down in Flames, Thunderstruck, Have a Drink on Me, Hell's Bells, Shot in the Dark, Stiff Upper Lip, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Shoot the Thrills, Sin City, Giving the Dog a Bone, Rock and Roll Train, You Shook Me All Night Long, Dog Eat Dog, High Voltage, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Riff Raff, Highway to Hell, Whole Lotta Rosie, Let There Be Rock, TNT, and for those about to rock, we salute you. That's a hell of a set list, dude. Jesus. I wish I could have afforded to go to the Power Trip Festival because it would have been really cool. But I hope they tour because I've seen AC/DC several times, but I'd like to see them one more time. And you can do that exact set list for me right there, dude. That's a great set list, man. That was fan-freaking-tastic. All right. Let's see. We got a super chat here. Marcus Shabbat. Hear me out, Big O. While doing the waddle yesterday with my daughter, I accidentally stepped on my cat. Then she started doing the waddle too. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it. Got to be careful, man. Especially with them small dogs and cats. Got to be careful stepping on those little paws. And then it makes you feel like shit when that happens. Are you all right? You're right. You're grabbing your dog and cat. You're rubbing the paw. You're kissing it. You're all right. You're right. I agree with hiding Claypool. Otherwise, you give the Eagles film. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't even know if he'll make a difference in that game at all. But what the hell? Save it. Did you see what happened in Megadeth's 10 security guard beat up a Megadeth fan, and Dave Mustaine took off for the fan. It's bright. Oh, it's on YouTube. Okay. So wait a minute. Are you saying that he went to defend the fan, or that he took off from stage after his people beat up the fan, or I got to look it up. How long is it going to take for this defense to click? I hope in 2 weeks. Okay. I hope in 2 weeks they click. All right. That's what I'm hoping. They didn't click 2 weeks ago. I need them to click in 2 weeks. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm hoping for. Weren't the Dolphins playing in that Monday Night Football game where it was announced that, yeah, I don't know if it was the Dolphins. I'm not sure if it was a Dolphins game. You might be right. Back in those days, the Dolphins were on Monday night so much, there's a good chance. Big O, I want the Eagles to know exactly what we got going on with Claypool. I don't want any surprises and still kick their ass with them knowing what we got. That's what this team needs. Beat us. I just want them to win, bro. I need them to win. I need them to start winning these kind of games. I need them. Big time. And all you got to do is look at the 30-year history. You don't win those games normally, and this is why you never do anything in the playoffs. This is why you rarely go to the playoffs, because you can't hang with the big boys. So I need that. In 2 weeks, I need it. All right, let's take a quick break. Hour number 3. And when we come back, got to talk about Tyreek. He's had a really effed up week, by the way. Okay? Got a couple things I want to get off my chest on Dolphins. What else do we have? And a couple things also bouncing around the NFL. If you missed out on the Mario Cristobal stuff, I talked about it at the beginning of the show, where I was extremely disappointed with Mario. So a bunch of stuff there. Sean Stanley, yes, sir.
It was Patriots and Dolphins.
Oh, it was. Wow. Okay. Patriots, Dolphins, Monday night. Damn. I still, I can remember. I can remember that moment when Howard Cosell made that announcement. That's something that if you lived it, it will stick with you. Hold on a second. It will definitely stick with you throughout, and it doesn't leave you. It's one of those things that when you experienced it, it was always going to be there for you. Let me see if I I wonder if I have Cosell making that announcement on, because I probably do have it. I don't know how I labeled it as a problem. I always have, whenever I want to find these things while I'm on the show, it's never smooth. I never can find them. All right, let's take the quick break, and then if I'm able to find it, then I can play it. If not, we'll come back and give you a couple thoughts I have. Oh, you got it there? Yeah, I hear it there, but it's in the background.
It's on my phone. I got a video of it.
All right. Back with hour number 3 right here on the Big O Radio Show.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
following statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
News in New York City. An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
That last part, dead on arrival.
An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
That was a upside down world right there. That's as Morrissey would sing, it's a knockabout world. This knockabout world. Oh, one player that needs some respect put on his name is Austin Jackson. 20 yards downfield. That dude was like 40 yards downfield. Yeah. Austin Jackson's playing his ass off, man. After all that talk, they hit on 2 of the 3 of the linemen. So it all worked out. You got Hunt, you got Austin Jackson, you missed on Eichenberg, you move on. You know, you hit on so many things. It's just there's no, the front office is not something you complain about. We got a really good front office now. What up, Big O and Sean and everyone at work, but listening and hit the like button. Thank you, John. Hit that like button. Smash the hell out of that like button, please. Frankie says, my question to all you guys is, why Damian Priest not cash in his money in the bank on Saturday? What is that some wrestling question or something?
Yeah, that's wrestling, and I believe Tony Khan was booking for WWE on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Big O, did you see Chris Brooks as a lead blocker yesterday? He had a couple pancake blocks. It was awesome to see. That kid brings it, man. They're just so loaded at running back. Someone has a breakdown on Twitter of the Chan touchdown. The line is playing great. Oh, yeah. The line is doing a terrific job overall. Those things have changed. What were you going to say, Sean? Did you pop in there?
Yeah, no, I was going to talk about with Chris Brooks. They lined him up. I don't know if you saw the one that's really going around on Twitter and getting a lot of is he's lined up as like the halfback on the right side of the line, and he comes across and pancakes the defensive end, which sprung Mostert for that one. Pretty long run.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, the kid, you got to love the way Mike McDaniel designs offenses and the depth that they have now at running back. You know, doesn't it seem like those of you that were clamoring for all these other running backs, you feel silly now, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Because they are loaded. They are rich with running backs. Filthy rich. Smash the like button, folks. Make sure you smash the hell out of the like button. Very, very important to smash it, and the like button too. And by the way, I stand strong, and I pray for our friends in Israel. What happened over the weekend was disgusting. and there's no place in the world for it. And so I know, unfortunately, that part of the world is about to get really, really, really ugly, but I can't blame our friends in Israel for reacting the way they did. Well, what's been going on is just gross. And so prayers to our friends in Israel and to all of our Jewish friends here, or anywhere in the world that you're watching the show and you have family members there right now. You must be, I can't even imagine it. Can't even imagine it. That feeling right now for our Jewish friends all over the world who have family members there still. And still, even your fellow countrymen going through everything that they're going through now. So just very sad. And the worst part is that now the amount of bloodshed now that did not need to happen. And so my thoughts and prayers go out, man. Really, really sucks. What else do we have going on as we switch a little gears? Let's go to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Sports or 3A Graphics. And that is 786-618-1443. And they are at 980 West 22nd Street in Hialeah. Call them. Again, 786-618-1443. If you're looking for custom printing and embroidery, they are awesome. Awesome. Tonight, Packers and Raiders, 8:15. Pack is 2-2. Raiders are 1-3. Raiders are favored by 2. Over and under is 45.5. Packers plus 110. Raiders minus 130. Dolphins will be back in action against the Panthers on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Dolphins favored by 14 points. They are minus 850 on the money line, and the Panthers over and under is 48 in this game. They are plus 575 on the money line. That, my friends, is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. I'm a little younger than you. Do you remember if there was talk of a Beatles reunion tour? Yes. There was always talk, but nothing ever really was going to materialize. It just didn't seem like it. Now, who knows, man? Who knows if in 85 or 90 they finally give in and the Yoko Ono crap is out of the way and whatever, and who knows? None of us really know, dude. You know? That's the part that sucks. You hate it because a lot of us, I would have loved to have seen the Beatles. God, that would have been so cool. And then those are moments that you hate. And then the other kind of moments that you hate are those people that deserve the recognition to get into the Hall of Fame. And they're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then they finally pass away. And then they get inducted after. And they're not there to enjoy the moment that they earned. It's so pathetic when we do that. Hate it. Hate seeing stuff like that happen. Makes zero sense when that happens. How can anyone be upset with Israel? They got attacked, just like Ukraine got attacked. How can't be upset with anybody that is not just innocent people get killed for no reason at all. Yeah, no, it's disgusting. They were abducting, kidnapping, killing, and then using their own social media posts from their phones to show them and post it on their own social media. It's like they kidnapped me and then grabbed my phone and got on my Twitter and killed me on my Twitter and then posted it. That's the kind those are the animals you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Only one way to deal with animals like that. Only problem is I don't know if we're going to get involved. But, boy, I will say this is going to put the U.S. in a very difficult situation because you're going to be funding 2 wars now. Really, really difficult situation. I can't remember the Dolphins ever being favored by double digits in 2 straight weeks in my life. Well, they're really good, Paul. That's why do you think I was so pissed last week? Why do you think? Because I don't want them to ruin this opportunity, man. Last year, I think the Dolphins could have made some noise in the playoffs if they would have been healthy. Okay? Maybe it's a little crazy for me to think Super Bowl, but this year, I don't think it's crazy. Now, you got to start winning these tough games, but this is a really good team. Paul, you've been following this team long enough, dude. I've been dealing with you long enough. We've never seen anything like this as Dolphin fans. You got to go back 40, 50 years to try to find balance in a Dolphins team. Marino never had any balance. It was so the imbalance with Marino was disgusting. He had no defense and no running game. It was less than one-dimensional. It was so predictable, it was ridiculous. Marino would score, and Bud Brown would then allow it after that. Like, that was etched in stone. We haven't had anything like this. That's why I'm furious, because I see the talent. I know they're better than what they did 2 weeks ago. And it's time. It's time to put your big boy pants on. It's time to give this fan base, some of us have been waiting for 50 years to go back to when I was a kid. I'm 57 now. I was 7 and 8 years old when we won the 2 Super Bowls. So I've been waiting for 50 years because as a 7 and 8 year old, there is no way you appreciate the championships the same way when you're 17 or 27 or 57. You will always understand and appreciate a lot more than when you're a 7 and 8 year old. I've been waiting for 50 years for this. Others have been waiting 40 and 30 and 20. And the ones that have been waiting for 10, 20, and 30 years, they've never seen anything like this. Nothing comes close to this. No Ricky Williams, none of the Marino teams, not the Lamar Smith team, not any of the Taylor and Zach teams, none of them. You know why? Because none of them ever had any balance. None of them had a defense and an offense. Marino never had a running game like this. Can you imagine Marino being able to turn around and hand it to Chan for, hey, here you go, kid, go off for 40 or 50 yards. Oh, you're only averaging 12 yards a carry this week? Wow, we're really struggling. So this is the reason. This is it. So it's up to the coaches to put this shit together because the guy at the top already gave you all the talent. Now it's up to you guys to fine-tune this thing, make the coal into a diamond, and let's get going. That's why I'm bothered by all of this. They're better than this, and they better go and, take care of business. And let's see one hell of a performance against Philadelphia. And maybe even a win. That's what I would love. By the way, Tyreek has had a really wacky week, dude. He goes from a game where they get routed and embarrassed, and then he has to get an IV, and he has to rush back onto the field without a sock, and he gets fined $7,000. So then he's also got to deal with all the negative press throughout the week that they lost to the Bills, yada, 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 all that stuff again, because you lose to the Bills again. And then yesterday you're playing a game, and your mom insists that you give her a football and be a part of the touchdown celebration. You tell her, I'm going to get fined. She says, so what?
Yeah, you're making millions, kid. You can pay for the fine with no problem, which is true. So he then gives the ball to his mom, but another fan gets in the way. By the way, to his credit, he apologized. And he apologized even on social media and everything. So kudos to him. And by the way, I was wrong. It wasn't the guy that was with the tent. It was the security guard that was right there to make sure that kind of enlightened the guy. Yo, dude, that's his mom right behind you. The ball was for him, for her. So give it to her. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he gave it to him. So the guy got carried away, but he corrected himself. He checked himself before he wrecked himself. Okay? But it's like it's an interesting week for Tyreek. And I hope that do we know if they took away the $7,000 fine from him at all, Sean? Do you know anything? I hope they did because the poor man was getting an IV. Then he was rushing to get back into the game, so he didn't put on his sock. You fine him $7,000 for that. And you're going to fine a guy for giving his mom the football? What is wrong with the NFL? Is this what we're doing? You need the money that badly? Don't you guys produce enough money? You're going to fine a guy $7,000 for a sock. You're going to fine a guy for giving the ball to a relative, his mom. Is that what we're doing? These are the things that I just don't get. It's abusive. Abusive. Kind of like what, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. Kind of like what Biden and Powell and Yellen and Gensler are doing to Americans. Absolute crime. No reason. Anyway. Dolphin Mitch says, Big O Radio Show, been saying Bill Belichick was a fraud for 20 plus years. So many argued with me over the years. I said he was a 500 coach before Tom Lady in Cleveland, and he's been crap without him ever since. He has? He has, and he looks more fraudulent every single day. Chad says, never seen a Dolphin team like this. I'm 35 this upcoming Saturday, and I've grown up on mediocre football. This is the most excited and proudest I've ever been as a Dolphin fan. Oh, hell yeah. Of course. We haven't had anything like this in forever. And that's why I want them to take advantage of this. Big O, how do you rank Dolphins QBs if Tua wins one? If he wins a Super Bowl, he becomes number one. Dan didn't win it, bro. He might be my favorite of all time and all that good stuff. Wade surpassed Dan in this town by hundreds of miles. Hundreds of miles. Wade is all alone in the hierarchy of athletes in this town. All alone by himself. Number one. Titles, dude. That's what puts you there, unfortunately. You know? Can't do anything about that. Sucks. NFL needs to start dining these refs during the Chiefs games. You mean fining? But I understand what you're saying. Good afternoon, Big O. I see you are sporting the Fangio hat. Didn't think about that. I just thought about that a friend of mine gave me this hat, and I said, this is like, I told him, this is one of the greatest gifts I've ever had in my life. You know, first my daughter, my wife, and then this hat. I mean, look at this. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, like, How is this not like pure perfection? You know what I'm saying? Pure perfection. It's the kind of hat you can just style everywhere. It's the kind of hat wherever you go, people are going to say, "Now that's a hat. You are styling." Let's see. The NFL has never seen an offense like this, let alone the Dolphins. No, but Eric, as a Dolphin, we've never had this balance because they can play defense too. Okay, they're not great, but they can do a pretty good job. Well, much better than some of the stuff we've seen in the past. You know, maybe not some of the elite defenses we've seen here pretty good, but this is a pretty damn good defense. And when you get Ramsey back, it really takes the next step. So the offense, obviously, you're right. Most hasn't even existed in this league outside of the greatest show on turf. So yeah, you're right. It's one of those deals, but as a Dolphins fan, that's where I get excited. We have balance here that we have never seen in forever. Beatles reunification, one show only, Dolphins Super Bowl on the same day. Which one Dolphins Super Bowl always, John. Got to see a Dolphins Super Bowl, bro. That's my biggest need in my life. The event that I need to see is a Dolphins winning a Super Bowl, by the way. Not just getting to the Super Bowl. I need to see a Dolphins win in the Super Bowl. I cannot check out of this place without them winning one more. So before I check out, I need a title from the Dolphins. So nothing is more priority than me watching the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. And I have zero interest going as a media member. Zero. I know I could go in the locker room and zero interest. I want to really enjoy it as a fan and be in the stands and have some fun and all that good stuff. That'll be the enjoyable part. I've done the champagne in the locker room with the NBA, with baseball. I've done it. You know, it's cool. It's fun, all that good stuff. But no, the next time they go, I'm going to buy a ticket. I'm not going to go as a media member. I want to just enjoy it as a fan this time around. I don't want to be in the media room where I can't root and have fun and high five with strangers and, all that kind of stuff. Nah, dude. If the next go around, I will go as a fan. I've been to plenty of Super Bowls. I've been in winning and losing locker rooms and all that kind of stuff. I've covered all kinds of events, Olympics, you name it. And I need to see a Dolphins Super Bowl win. Need it badly. Didn't Nick Saban wear one of those hats too? Yes, Nick Saban does wear these hats. He loves, these hats are cool because they give you a lot of shade too. So yeah. I'm worried about our defense. Seems players aren't buying in. They're just not comfortable. That's all. Should I start Jalen Waddle on fantasy and bench Raheem Mostert? That's interesting. I'd start Raheem still until Jalen really gets on track. That's what I would do because Raheem is touching the ball a lot. And so I'd rather go with the guy that's touching the ball more and Raheem can pop, a couple long runs at any time. So I'm going to stay Raheem until you get Waddle back on track. And this week they did a good job. They targeted him a lot, got the touchdown. So maybe things are headed in the right direction. Big O, a weekend with Halle Berry and Salma Hayek or a Dolphins Super Bowl in your lifetime. You choose presented by Cutter's Edge. Halle Berry and Salma Hayek. Isn't that the Super Bowl? Anyway, Big O, I work in New York City hotel. I am ready to use the banquet room to use for the Finns Super Bowl with the GM is on notice. Thank you, sir. We're ready to go. But it's in Vegas, not New York City, the Super Bowl. So we got to go over to Vegas and have a party. But you know what? Maybe either we should hold a Dolphin New York City party there is what we should do when the Dolphins visit New York City. That's what we should do. All right. What else do I have to get off my chest? Good thing is no serious injuries, by the way, out of this game. That was absolutely awesome. Inter Miami season ended this weekend with Cincinnati beating them. That's about it. That is about it. All right, folks. We are going to thank Marcel Louis-Jacques. We thank the great Sean Stanley, who masters this program. We thank all of you out there, as always. Appreciate you for hitting the like button, visiting our amazing sponsors. We thank you all out there. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., getting it done. We'll see you there. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.